can change everything.
My name is George Zamaras, and I'm the CEO of Cleatshield. I lead vision, strategy, and execution. I'll be taking my talents to Valley University while playing football, studying finance and AI.
I'm Jack, CFO, and I manage finances and make sure our growth is sustainable. I'll be going to NIU to study finance.
I'm Andre. I oversee our solution and making sure our product actually performs. And I will be going to U Tampa for finance.
I'm Nikki, the CMO. I handle branding, marketing, and how Cleatshield connects with athletes. I'm committed to the college education to play baseball and study aviation.
We are Cleatshield, a pre-applied spray designed to protect the bottom of cleats before games and practices, preventing mud buildup and maintaining traction when it matters most.
The most valuable part about Incubator was learning how to turn an idea into a real business.
It forced us to think critically and solve real-world problems.
We learn how branding and storytelling matter just as much as the product.
And how numbers, planning, and teamwork drive success.
We are Cleatshield, and remember, stay fast, stay clean, stay in the game.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome young men of Cleatshield.
Good morning, everybody, and as you guys already know, we are Cleatshield. And our goal for today is your guidance and opportunity to continue the journey of our product.
Let's go back to the start of Cleatshield. It's my junior year at Willowbrook High School. I'm playing baseball, and rain starts pouring down. The field is covered in wet dirt. My cleats were covered in a thick slab of mud. And I was thinking, there must be an easier way. So naturally, I went home and Googled how to prevent mud buildup on my cleats. And Google told me to prevent mud on cleats, please treat the soles with a non-stick spray like WD-40 or PAM. Then I Googled, is WD-40 or PAM safe for grass? And Google told me no, WD-40 and PAM are harmful to grass.
As you can see here, Nikki previously mentioned his issues with the high school field. But as you guys can probably tell from these videos, it's also an issue with collegiate and professional sports.
In the first half, how well Deshaun Shed's been. But this is not just a visual issue. This is a physical one as well. 53%, over half of NFL combine participants have reported a history of ankle injury. And 70% of those people have said they have a higher risk in mud and rain. But this is not just backed up by experience. It's backed up by doctors. Dr. Miller and Dr. Fenzinger. They say playing on wet, muddy fields increases the incidence of athlete injury greatly. And they say that playing in outdoor environments with wet and muddy conditions is bad for athletes overall. But it's not just athletes. 15% of all work accidents are slip, trips, and falls. That makes it the second leading cause of injury in the United States. Just to put that into perspective, 25,000 people have a slip, trip, and fall at work in the US daily.
We decided to conduct a problem survey to determine our problem in the market. One of the questions we asked is how often does mud buildup affect your performance while using outdoor footwear? And from this, no one said that it never affects them. We then asked, how does mud buildup affect your experience or performance when using outdoor footwear? With the majority of people saying that it significantly affects them towards being slightly uncomfortable, with few people saying no impact.
So we had 28 personal interviews with players, coaches, and parents from professional levels in the NFL, such as Chris Streveler, a quarterback for the Miami Dolphins, to the Notre Dame football team and Indiana Hoosier football team as well, and multiple parents and coaches that I've personally had in the past few years. The first response we chose to show you guys was when I play in grass, I usually end up with clumps of mud and grass underneath my cleats, which caused me to slip everywhere. The next response, I heard that you could put some oil and you could put some cooking oil on the bottom of your shoes. However, I'm worried with harming the grass and tarnishing it.
So let's take a look at our main competitors. So first off, as a baseball player, I know the baseball cleat scraper does not work. They throw that out on the field and it's just a waste of time. Second off, you have the Mission Cleat Grip, which is a product that's been discontinued since 2010 and is no longer sold. As we already covered, Pamela Brush is harmful to the field and does not repel dirt and mud like they say it does on Google. If you take a look at our competitive analysis, you see the Cleatshield is easy to use, portable, and mess-free. It's compatible with hiking boots, protects the field, and prevents mud buildup on the bottom of your cleats, boots, and outdoor footwear.
We then decided to conduct a solution survey to determine how viable our solution would be to the market. We asked on a scale of 1 to 5, how satisfied are you with your current solutions? And nobody said that they were fully satisfied with it, with the majority of people saying they're dissatisfied. We also asked if there was a product like ours on the market, how interested would you be in buying it, with the majority of people saying that they'd be very interested in it.
So let's take a look at the process of creating Cleatshield. So as you can see on the screen on the left-hand side, this is the beginning of the problem. You can see the mud building up between the pegs of the cleats, which is where it starts. So after 17 trials in, we developed a formula that got about half the mud off your cleats. And here we are today, 35 trials in with almost zero mud buildup on the bottom of our cleats.
And you might be wondering, after 35 iterations to find a solution, what can possibly be in this solution that makes it so great? Well, to start it off, we have a light mineral oil followed up by an isopropyl uracil and topped off with dimethicone. For starters, our light mineral oil is 70% of our solution. And the purposes of this light mineral oil are a flexible coating, carrier vessel, anti-separation, and a slip and shine.
Followed closely by our IPM, which makes up 20% of our formula. IPM is a drying agent, mud repellent, viscosity reducer, and a shine controller.
Closing up our formula is dimethicone, which makes up 10%. It serves as a hydrophobic layer, gloss modifier, and improves the durability of our product. It also provides the microtexture. The microtexture is the key to our product's success. It creates a thin, visible, textured layer between the cleat and the ground beneath, repelling all the dirt and mud.
Let's take a look at our market. Our total addressable market is made up of 50 million cleat users, outdoor hikers, and then outdoor workers at a price of $18.95 a bottle, which brings us to $900 million. Our serviceable addressable market is 12.5% of that we estimate we could reach. And then our share market is 0.5% of that we estimate we could attain this year.
So we've reached out to a few manufacturers, starting off with Burkeville Oil Company, then we've reached out to Capital Brazil Corporation, and also Qualifying Chemicals.
So let's take a look at our branding. As you can tell, our three main colors are gold, black, and white, and our three main logos that we designed all by ourselves in Canva is the shield, the knight, and the mud. Let's take a look at our website and social media presence. On the left-hand side, you can see our Instagram, which has 260 followers. That's the most of a Lake Park Incubator group in the history of the program. Second, we have the TikTok, which has 112 followers. We post videos on there and tutorials on how to use Cleatshield. On the bottom here, you can see a scroll through of our website, cleatshield.org. You can order our product today, and it will be delivered within a week.
Going on, meet the Cleatshield family. Jason, Tracy, and Linda. They have a medium household income of $170,000. Jason is a hiker, but wants to keep traction on those trails. Tracy is a high school soccer player and wants to keep traction on the field. And Linda wants to be safer at work, keeping traction at work.
And now for our demonstration. So what you guys will see here is one of our cleats will have applied Cleatshield to it. We're going to let it sit for a second while we have our other dry cleat pressed into the mud, kind of like illustrating what it would feel like when you're outside running, cutting, making those agile movements you guys are supposed to be making as athletes. Okay? As we press down into the mud, we're going to show you guys how this is supposed to repel all the mud from sticking up to the cleat. Obviously, we're not cutting, we're not moving around. It's just a visual to show you guys that it does work. This product has been perfected, and we've been using it with multiple different guys in training camps. As I mentioned, Notre Dame and Indiana. Indiana just came off of a national championship. They practice on grass, they don't touch turf. One of my friends, Garrett Reese, uses this product at Indiana, and so does my friend Don Kulak at Notre Dame. As you can see, proven product right there.
Some of our potential retailers for this include Bass Pro Shops for the hikers, Walmart for the workers, and then Dick's Sporting Goods for the athletes, but also others.
These are our revenue streams. We have 3 revenue streams: our core products, our partnerships, and our apparel. Our core products are things like sales direct to customers, retail stores such as Dick's, Target, stuff like that, e-commerce online through Amazon or our website, and bulk orders to high school teams or AAU teams. Our partnerships are things like sponsorships that we could have with our baseball team or just any high school team, and other partnerships with other companies.
Thank you, Complex.
For our apparel, we have hats, shirts, wristbands, and towels. We use a local manufacturer in the Chicagoland area to make all our apparel, and currently we're sold out of our towels and wristbands, but that's coming very soon. We have a new order coming in.
Now taking a look at our costs, for the bottle of Cleatshield, the 8-ounce bottle like this one here, it's about $6.28 to produce. We're going to be selling it for $18.95, which gives us a profit margin of about 66%. Then for our 32-ounce bottle right there, that you're going to be able to refill this 4 times with, it's going to be $17.99 to make, and we're going to sell it for $39.99, bringing us to like a 55% profit margin. And then for our shirts and towels, all of our profit margins are around 50 to 75%. And then our wristbands, we sell with a lower profit margin, about 37%. Now taking a look at our pricing model, we use this to construct our prices for all the products. Basically just added our cost of goods sold and our SGA costs, and then we wanted to have around a 50% profit margin for most of the stuff, so we priced accordingly to that. This is our income statement for the next 3 years, our projections. We project around $500 of profit this year. $500, $600 of profit this year. You know, we have big growth numbers on it because this year we're only producing it ourselves, but in the next 2 years we want to move to an actual manufacturer like we talked about. Then this is our income statement so far for this year. We've done around $430 in sales. We have $187 worth of inventory, and we've profited around $306 this year.
But that is not all, folks. That's not all whatsoever. Introducing Grip Shield. Grip Shield is an extension line from Cleatshield, which repels dust and enhances grip for all indoor shoes. Okay, so basketball players, volleyball players, nets and rackets, even tennis, you can use it outside as well. It enhances the grip.
Let's take a look at Grip Shield. What you're going to do is you're going to apply 2 sprays to the bottom of your indoor footwear, and it's going to get rid of all that dirt. As you can see right now, it's ready drying. 20 seconds, it'll be completely dry. Your cleats will be ready to grip the inside floor. Works on any indoor footwear, in the office, in the kitchen, and of course, on the basketball court.
And yes, we did use this before we came out here.
But that's not all. NBA injury stats. Ankle injuries make up the majority of NBA injuries. That's due to loss of traction, landing, and with Grip Shield, we hope to change that.
Taking a look at the market for Grip Shield, our total addressable market is made up of 37 million indoor basketball players around America at a price of $14.99 a unit. That brings us to around $550 million. Our serviceable addressable market is still around 12.5% of that at 6.9 million, and then we estimate that we'd also obtain a 0.5% market share, so around $345,000 of revenue from Grip Shield. Then for our costs, it costs us $4.48 to make a bottle of Grip Shield. We're going to sell it for $4.99, or $4.95, sorry, and that brings us to 70.18% profit margin.
And always remember,
Stay fast.
Stay clean.
Stay in the game.
with Cleatshield.
Well, before we move on to questions, I just want to give a big shout out to Mr. Colucci for giving us the opportunity to turn our idea into a real company.
I'd also like to thank our mentor, Rosanna, right over here, and the incubator program for allowing us to do this kind of thing.
Excellent job, guys. It was really cool idea. I like the graphics. The testimonials I really enjoyed. One thing I thought was a little just thrown in there was there's such a big market of athletes, both on fields, on courts now with the grip shield. Why focus on work right now?
So why would we focus on work? It's two different reasons. First off, Andre, his family does own the cilantro company, and they are having problems right now because they just opened up a new one on Lake Street, and there's a lot of people slipping around out there, especially with all the different things going on. And we want to make this like a full, like we don't want to set just to a certain little spot of people, but we could grow ourselves so much further beyond that.
Yeah, but there's something to be said for focusing on like your niche and getting that done exceptionally well. And then once it's done, you move on to the next and you want the next. You know, if you start off too wide, you know, you don't want to go too wide, you want to go deep in the first one, and then you can focus on that and you move on from there. But that's just my opinion there. And then the demo was great. You know, I like that it was in the same box, it was a secret box, and it really just hammered home the idea of what it does. Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree. Well done. I have some similar concerns about diluting your focus. You know, so the merch is interesting. You've got the next product line, but hit a home run with what you're starting out with, I think. And then it's great to see your vision for how this can move going into the future. Tell us more about the testing you did. You made some references to friends at different sports teams. That's even intriguing and interesting to us because those might be some initial customer groups and endorsements you could be getting.
So yeah, we've had countless people testing this. So let's go back to the beginning. It started off as just us. So we were in our basement, we were mixing this formula, we were researching ingredients, and we were running out there ourselves. Then when we got our first iteration, we started giving it to people on our team. So that's like Lake Park members, so Lake Park football, Lake Park baseball, lacrosse, people who would be in that type of situation. And then after that, we expanded. We started mailing it out to like his friends who are like professional and high-level football players and testing it on them. As far as Andre works, his family, like they said, mentioned in the restaurant, so that was big with Grip Shield, having them tested inside the kitchen, preventing slippage there. And then we have some construction workers, hikers, we have it on our parents, friends, our coaches, literally everyone here knows about Cleatshield.
So that's great, and it's great to hear the excitement. Are you able to tell us numbers of people?
Yeah, so we had 28 of those interviews, and then
So right now we mailed out like 73, more so 75 bottles of Cleatshield. We started going to games, we sold them, we kept in touch with customers. We want them to tell us how our product is after what we use, after how it sits in the bag. It's all going to be different because you need to have the performance so it doesn't have to freeze up and then it gets too thin. You still want that hydrophobic layer that they're talking about with light protection.
And again, yes, this is our 36th iteration. The final Cleatshield formula, which is in all these bottles right here of Cleatshield, that's the 36th different formula that we've tried. So we've had lots of different like interviews and things that have happened. At the beginning, obviously it didn't work, and now it's incredible. You've seen those pictures. It's almost zero, and the demonstration in front of you too. So.
I just have one question. So for Cleatshield and then Grip Shield, is it the exact same formula?
No.
So I think this is where we had it on the slide. This is, so there's light mineral oil, isopropyl and dimethicone, right? And here is like an alcoholic base. So so there's just like a hand sanitizer alcoholic base like mixed together. And we added like a certain amount of water so that it could not be like over chemically and it could stay and have longevity.
Okay. Yeah, there was. Sorry.
Kind of like a cologne would have, like you know how it would stick chemicals and things in there, but it's not going to harm you. So it's kind of that.
Yeah, there was one slide you guys kind of went through it sort of quick and I didn't think So I would just repeat, I seem to be harping on the target audience idea. Could not say it better myself. Go deep and then go wide from a marketing perspective. Really penetrate the market, get that word of mouth you've already proven to yourselves is so valuable. Really focus on that. Totally understand that this is a whole separate but very dynamic target audience as well. But as you already know, it's a completely different audience, inside versus outside, sports versus work. I would casually suggest that it might even be a situation where your marketing would be completely different, and honestly, maybe even a website. So again, don't distill the message. You've got a really strong message going with Cleatshield. That's it. I don't have any questions.
So what are your plans over the next 6 months with this business?
Well, so we definitely need to get in a manufacturer. So we've been in contact with those 3 people, and what we really need is the funds to be able to put down like a down payment and get into a manufacturer. So right now we're looking at about $3,000 is what we need to like get starting to get bottles filled like that, and then obviously like expanding our marketing and stuff like that, because like spreading it out to different places. We're selling good when right now we're going mostly in person, so we're pulling up to baseball games and football games and we're selling it there. But we need more widespread advertisement online, and then like more word of mouth spreading. Obviously, that's going to happen as we sell the product. So yeah.
So is that how you got the sales? It's great to show that you have some sales.
Yes.
Me and George, we went to a couple. Nikki plays baseball here, obviously. So me and George went to a couple of the baseball games, and Andre also. And we set up like a whole table we have over there with our shirts, hats, bottles of Cleatshield, everything like that. And we were out there selling, marketing also.
The weight, that's not all was a great touch too. I like that.